All right, Shalom. First step, and all praise to how about Shem Shai, Basham Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of will, and salutations to the brothers that stood in truth and sincerity. As you can see, the title of this is Have U.S. Police Departments Become Too Militarized? BBC News. 1 second, Slovakia. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to play this clip.
We're not at war with the public, but we do need to protect ourselves so that we can provide the protection to the public that we are sworn to do.
Since the 1990s, local law enforcement units in the U.S. have received billions of dollars worth of military-grade equipment from the federal government. This has led to heavy artillery and armored vehicles rolling down U.S. streets, leaving some Americans feeling unsettled. Now President Joe Biden reportedly wants to put restrictions on how police forces are equipped. So when did U.S. police start receiving military equipment? Under the 1033 program, surplus items like weapons and vehicles are transferred from the Department of Defense to local law agencies, both large and small. These deals stem from George H.W. Bush's presidency, equipping officers to fight the war on drugs. The program was later expanded during the Clinton administration to include counterterrorism efforts.
The legislation protects not only our national security, but also our security at home.
Over time, local police forces have stocked up on everything, from armored vehicles to grenade launchers. Americans saw some of the same equipment used by U.S. soldiers during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they would soon see it on the streets of their own cities.
What's going on over here? Here we go.
When protests broke out in Ferguson, Missouri in 2014, the country and the rest of the world watched as the local police department took to the streets with military vehicles. This led to President Obama imposing restrictions on the program.
We've seen how militarized gear can sometimes give people a feeling like there's an occupying force as opposed to a force that's part of the community that's protecting them and serving them.
But those restrictions were eventually loosened by the Trump administration.
We will do our best to get you what you need. We have your back. We black the blue.
But does military equipment have any effect on policing? Some studies have suggested that the 1033 program might not be reducing crime at all, and that this militarization is harming the public's perception of policing.
This program is incredibly problematic. What we've seen in response is, the militarization of our communities in response to First Amendment protected activities of residents, and particularly in communities of color. Law enforcement agencies that have acquired this equipment and weapons of war have been using it against their own citizens.
But law enforcement officials have maintained the equipment is vital in dealing with the increased threats officers have been facing in U.S. streets.
And typically that's what happens when we show up with this vehicle. It's overwhelming force, and we have the element of surprise, and typically nothing happens. They surrender, and we take them to jail. When something happens, we're responding, but the fact of the matter is we're responding, and it's happening, so you've got to be able to protect yourself.
All right, that's a little short clip. All this is happening because it's prophecy. Esau, as you can see, they said it's been happening since, I think it said before the 1990s. Esau had already was putting this stuff on the books and preparing everything because he still has to bring in this new world order. So this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It said, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil, which is Esau, the so-called white man, not no spiritual demon Satan, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Right? So these militarized vehicles and everything, and them passing legislation is because they try to turn America into a police state. And those who don't want to abide by, even if you do try to abide by, you're gonna be put to death. You know, that's why they pushing out the vaccine, because next is gonna be the chip. They already got the police and stuff in order to a certain degree. You know, they just doing Biden's whole situation when he got inaugurated. They brought in 25,000 troops, and then I got another article on them sending 1,100, and you know they just be throwing the media numbers, but they sending troops all over the United States to help with the implementation of the vaccine, in which they gonna make it to where people got to take it to where they can force it. But you know, we'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, man, that's the agenda. You know, you can't do nothing against it, but to pray to Yahweh Shai to be delivered from it, because if you understand the history, this happened in our history, so to speak. You know, during the time of 70 A.D. Give me 1 second. I'm just thinking out loud. Slovakia. This is from Babylon to Timbuktu. For you younger brothers, new brothers that's just coming in. You know, us brothers that's been in for a while. We know about this book. This is a very nice book. You have to pick through the throw the bones out. You know, eat the meat of this book, man. But you have to understand. You have to go through the spirit, which is the scriptures, so you can get a filter, a greater discernment. You know, but this is on page 84. It says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem, which represents the black slash Native Americans. Man, you got to know the history. In which they actually did capture Jerusalem, Slakia, but you know it wasn't the Israelis. You know, it was actually the black slash Native Americans' land. In 70 AD, and Esau uh, uh, sent his troops in there during the Roman Empire. The Esau, the Edomites, were the Romans. It says in 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. Right, man? Everybody was being put to death, man. You had people starving to death. You had people eating each other during that time. You know, because I think they said the siege lasted about 5 to 6 months. You know, y'all write this. I'm gonna be able to put up a lesson on the history, but it says many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. It said, and it also said in the history that the people that wasn't even, you know, doing anything, you know, wasn't even fighting back and stuff of that nature, the ones that was being peaceful, for you so-called righteous guys, you know, we ain't involved, we ain't them rebels, we ain't them guys that's out there that's trying to fight back and none of that. We trying to be peaceful. They was killing them too, you know. So it says many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, the ones that took heed to the Lord, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black, Jewish slaves, man. And that's another way we know the Jews are black. This is another book that proved it, you know, because they fled into Africa and they know to hide. And if you were Edomite, so called with the flesh of the translucent flesh, you can't hide amongst no Africans, you know. But this is the precept in the scriptures, because we got this out the Bible. It's from the Bible first, the filter. This is a Matthew chapter. No, this is Luke chapter 19, verse 43. It says, for the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee. and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another. Right? They destroyed everything. Because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. See? This is Romans chapter 13. I'm bringing this out because when you do the history, you had Jacob fighting against Esau. Well, no, that ain't my point. Salakia. When they do this, the Lord gonna have to protect us during these times and whatnot. You got Jacob that's gonna try to fight against Esau and try to take down Esau, but that's not the agenda of Yahweh Shema Shai. Because as you can see, the weapons and the capability that they have is greater than the normal people. Hence the reason why they passed the law and start supplying these police stations with these weaponry, this weaponry. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh Shema Shai. So Esau was put in power by Yahweh Shema Shai, the golden cup. Esau was blessed with the sword to rule this world, man. So, even though we know this information, we are not to pick up no arms to try to blow up no police stations and kick off this war and be like, what's the guy name on Terminator? That's not our lot. We have to wait till the Lord give us the spiritual power. What do you call it? Wait on the Lord, man. Whoso therefore resisteth the power, that means to fight against the power, resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh Shema Shai, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation, shall be condemned, man. So you can't fight against Esau and his military and whatnot unless you got the Lord with you. And this scripture right here finna prove it. This is Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe, meaning destruction, to them that go down to Egypt for help, right? Egypt is America. Our people depending on this Edomite and his benefits, and they're going to be depending on that RFID chip when that comes out, just like how they depending on this vaccine and whatnot to get them by. They look at Esau as a god. They look at E as a god, as a savior, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many. That's talking about Esau military might. They trusting in that stuff, man. And in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, because America is going to be destroyed ultimately, man. Will rise up against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians, represent America, are men and not the Most High, right? These people, Slakia, and their horses flesh, their military is flesh, and they're not God, they're not Yahweh Shema Shai, man, and not spirit, man. The spirit has the ultimate power, over this flesh and whatnot, man. You know, the Lord is the Father of all spirits, man. The Lord controls everything. He got all the power, man. Let me read that again. This is now the Egyptians are men, talking about you people, and not Yahweh Shema Shai, and their horses, their military, flesh, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Right? So Esau gonna use this his military might, to fight against Yahweh Shema Shai, but the Lord isn't flesh, man. He is spirit. You know, the things that they have is like carnal, you know, and it's not on the spiritual level, man. So it's not gonna work, . But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end the lesson. Call Allah, Yahweh Shema Shai. Give honors to the elders and apostles that rule well. And salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.